things that I love about seeing new work, especially new work coming from different perspectives, is that I also get different perspectives on monsters. I get different monsters. So there's this idea of troll, right? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. I want to make sure, because sometimes it goes all over the place. So give me an idea of what that monster is supposed to be saying for the culture. Why does it exist in the first place?
So basically, a woman who is raped, murdered, or dies during childbirth is said to become this kind of monstrous being. So typically, long black hair, backwards feet, contorted limbs. It was very difficult to film parts of this in Pakistan because the folklore is so strong. People still believe in the Jurel. In fact, it's very unlike jinn. So if you see a Jurel, you probably won't live to talk about it because it's just so monstrous and shit out of people. So there's a particular type of tree, a peepal tree. I don't know the English translation. So for example, if you're being silly and you urinate against one, you're fucked. Yeah. So and it's this kind of monstrous revenge being. But typically Jurel in, I guess, like Bollywood cinema, early Bollywood cinema, has always been depicted as like a seductress, like a siren type figure. I'm going to move on from that.
So what? Yeah, I was just going to say, what fascinated you about it? How did you want to move away from it?
So two things really inspired this movie. So as you know, it's dedicated to the memory of Jyoti Singh. She was the victim of the Delhi bus crime, and that hit me. That really hit me. And I felt the obligation to respond to that. And this was the only way I knew how. Also, I had my own traumatic past. So I was in a really abusive relationship, and I think some of us might know, you want to play that savior type. And like, if I love this person hard enough, everything will be good. But there comes a point where you're like, I gotta take care of me. When do I stop obsessing over this? So and there's an artist side of it as well. When do you stop obsessing over something and start thinking about yourself? Like, hey, I'm continuing this cycle of violence here. Like, how do we stop that? So I went to the origins of the journal. I didn't want to do that seductress type thing. I was like, wait a minute. Like, this is about violence against women. This monster exists because of what society has done to women. And people are like in Pakistan and like India, they're like terrified of it. It's like, but you have created this monster.
Right.
So I went to the origins of that and just kind of, I wanted to do something different with this monster movie. So we got an idea of how this being was created and like how we can respond to that. Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting that in a way it goes to cursed objects as well. One of the things that is really striking is one of the characters doing research and says, what, Auntie, do you think there's hundreds still walking around because of this thing? And you get this idea that you have inherited through this fabric, the story of someone that normally wouldn't have been told had it not been picked up by someone who may have been sensitive enough to be able to actually track that. What interests me every time I watch this is that there's this moment where I realize that the body is left there to be eaten by alligators, but there was more value in the fucking silk, right? And so someone takes that and sells that. How dispassionate can you be about a human life? But it's also interesting that this is a monster that is created out of the fear of the guilt and the shame of what's being done with it. So it's like this weird way of giving this empowerment, as long as the women don't have it. If they're dead, then they get all this power. So talk a little bit about the look of this film. So there's a visual poetry that's going on. One of the things about the film that's really striking is that it is a motion picture. In other words, it's not telling you much. It is giving you images. You want to feel those images. In the very beginning, we get Algernon Blackwood's nature and supernatural happening all at once. So we got air, wind, or we got air, fire, earth, and water shown in the opening credits. Burning trees.
You guys are the spirit element of that?
So there's this idea of we're already like in a conjuring spirit, right? It's almost like we've opened up a spell as we're watching this movie. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about
Absolutely. If any of you have ever asked me for a link for this, like the original cut, I'm always like, I never say enjoy the film because I don't see this as a film. I see this as a meditation. I see this as a mirror for for you to look into and pull out what you can get. It's a reflection, and yeah, I just wanted to tap into a lot of visceral things like sound, touch. So even like the t-shirts and everything had to be soft. It had to look soft. If it didn't look soft, I sent it back. That's how I roll. I really wanted this to be a sensory experience because
Sound is
yeah, I mean the thing is we live in this culture where rape revenge movies are acceptable. We pay to see them. Some of us might enjoy them, the revenge part, okay? But people find it really uncomfortable to sit there and actually just take this all in, and where there isn't so much of a revenge part, and it's the feeling. We're so afraid of feeling, and that's what I wanted to deliver with this, through visuals, through everything. It's the feelings. Like, can you sit with this? Like, do you? Because sometimes we know this. So many of us have trauma. We're always busying ourselves. And I remember, you guys know that the original cereal scene was longer, but like I posted a thing up on my Instagram recently where I was enjoying my cereal, and honestly, that's how I eat it. I eat it very mindfully, and it's like, why do I need to rush? That's how I eat, I take my time. And I wanted to do that with this film, is just slow it down and be like, guys, let's deal with this together. Let's slow it right down. Let's feel this, let's sit with these feelings, sit with this trauma.
So let's talk about that slowing things down, right? So our character, we don't know much of the backstory. We get an idea that something has happened. This is an artist, and to basically something that's a diametric opposite of where they came from.
Yeah.
We're in Pakistan where there's yellows and there's browns and that kind of color. And then we go to Scotland, which is very quiet and it is gray and blue and green. So we are in contrast through most of the movie. Bright blue, then bright red, water, and then paint that's smearing everywhere. Can you talk a little bit about what you were doing with the contrasts? Why these two locations? What came out?
Well, my ancestry is Pakistan, so my family's from Pakistan, and I really wanted to bring that folklore in. But I wanted that contrast because it's this sense of not belonging to like one place or the other. You're kind of like in between, almost like the scarf. You're in between places.
And
so
supernatural.
Exactly.
Right? Veils.
Yes, literally like that. We put the make-out scene.
Right.
Literally between worlds, dimensions, experiences. We're between experiences. Yeah. We try our best to empathize with people, but we're still in between places. So we're almost we have a lot of tree imagery here, but I wanted to create this sense of being uprooted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's several scenes where walking over an uprooted tree.
Yeah.
Roots coming out of the water.
Yeah. But
the hair looks like roots.
Yeah, but I also wanted to do this thing of just creating the sense that no matter where we are, it's all still interconnected through that nature imagery, because nature is everywhere. Yeah.
So before I go any further, I did want to see if there are any questions.